My name is Jalen Moore, and this is my final speech for public speaking. And my topic is today is the use of animal testing in the country. Now, there's a lot of states that have to do with this whole situation around us because a lot of times animal testing can lead to positives and negatives. The pros of animal testing lists about finding new ways for technology to expand on animal testing. There are good things to animal testing, like including like new technologies and cures for diseases for some animals, because a lot of animals, they can catch these diseases, or these diseases are viral, they can spread. So that's why many of these diseases can have a cure to stop the use of animal testing, illegal animal testing, if that, so they can clear up the air about that. But a lot of times animal testing can cause a lot of negative parts about animal testing, including the cause of different widespread viruses throughout, and kind of like technology failing with animals. And a lot of times animals can be hurt, injured, or even worse, killed, because the lack of cooperation from other scientists that don't really have any real respect for animals and their livelihoods. So they have to basically do tests on them to make sure that they are stable and they are calm, and basically they have the will to live, because a lot of animals, sometimes you have to put them out of their misery because they are either in pain or they are suffering, so you had to put them out of their misery. But animal testing is a big topic. It's been a big topic for years, not just here in the United States, but in the UK. The UK government actually just signed a bill recently, a couple of years ago. They signed a bill to a ban for animal testing in the European government, the UK government, because the UK, as you know, they are not a part of the European Union anymore. They're their own country now. So they signed a bill for a ban against animal testing because many scientists, they have failed a lot of times, and it's a big problem, because animal testing, a lot of people, you can ask them that it may cause a lot of bad symptoms for them, because for animals at least, bad symptoms can lead to death for these animals, because if the scientists are not careful with their experiments, a lot of times their experiments can go wrong. And this is just concluding off from a lot of examples and a lot of visual examples of the experiments going wrong with these animals, them testing them in their laboratories, and a lot of times they can go wrong. But if they test them properly with the grainest of salt, they test them with a lot of visual experimentation, and they have a lot of physical evidence, and they have onlookers watching them and basically giving them notes and details to improve on, then they can actually end up being successful on these experimentations on these animals, because a lot of animals are being harmed and a lot of them are going extinct. A lot of them are on the verge of being extinct. So a lot of times there are endangered animals out there, but that's why they want to cut out. Many countries want to cut out the illegal animal testing. They want to ban animal testing because there's proof that a lot of animals are on the verge of being extinct. So a lot of times they want to be careful about that, but also they want to come up with a way that they can improve animal testing without causing any harm to any other animals. For example, narwhals, they are very, very endangered animals. There's a lot of narwhals out there that are endangered. So if they remove the ban for animal testing, that can harm narwhals. Better yet, they can be extinct without the proper use of animal testing, because a lot of times, like I was saying before, the experimentations, if they don't have any onlookers out there monitoring their experiments, then this could go very horribly wrong, and that can cause a lot of problems with the government and finances. It can hurt the stock market a lot, because a lot of companies, they like to do animal testing, and that can also hurt the stock of some companies. That can make it go decrease, or it can make it go up. It can either deflate a company or it can inflate a company. And usually you want inflation, but a lot of times you want deflation. So most of the time they can build off of their mistakes, but a lot of times it's hard to come back from that, because the prior use of technology today is built off of digital media and visual images and visual cues that most humans use to basically do their research on a lot of different animals. Because a lot of prior knowledge, we have prior knowledge, humans have prior knowledge of some animals, but when you go online, you do more research about certain animals like polar bears or wolves or tigers. A lot of times you want to do more research on that animal, because you might, like I said, you might have more prior knowledge of an animal, like prior knowledge to learning it in school or learning it from a relative, but you need to really know about an animal when you do more research and learn about the different ways that you can help them, and what are their weaknesses, and what do they eat, and what environment or habitat that they are currently living in. But that's a lot of times you can do animal testing on animals that are in a zoo. A lot of times you can do animal testing on animals in a zoo, because they're contained, they're encaptured. A lot of times it's easier to do testing on those animals than it is on wild animals like lions and zebras and animals that live in the wild. But it would be easier to do animal testing on animals that are currently encaptured in the zoo. So it would be very easy to do that on them, because those animals are actually willing. A lot of wild animals wouldn't be willing. They would be very dangerous to operate on, and a lot of times they wouldn't give you a reason to experiment on them unless you take a blood sample or you're doing a vital test on their vitals, basically making sure that they're okay and they're healthy. That's all it is healthy. Make sure that they're healthy.